Last-minute bombshell! Arsenal could still sign Victor Osimhen this season. Yes, folks, you heard that right. And Mikel Arteta reveals that Arsenal has received a surprising opportunity to sign another Chelsea star. Stay with me until the end of the video to check out the latest Arsenal news straight from the Emirates Stadium. But before that, if you're as passionate about Arsenal as we are, don't waste any time and subscribe to our channel right now to stay updated on everything happening with the greatest team in the Premier League. And without further ado, let's dive into today's top news. Arsenal didn't manage to sign a forward during the summer transfer window, but Edu could have a second chance very soon. Now that the chaos of deadline day has calmed down, Arsenal can take a moment to look back at their summer moves with a bit more clarity. They managed to bring in 5 new faces for the 2024-25 season. David Raya is now a permanent gunner, and they've added Mikel Merino, Ricardo Calafiori, plus both Nato and Raheem Sterling on loan. There's definitely a lot to be happy about with Arsenal's transfer business this summer, but if we're being honest, there's still a bit of a gap in the squad. A top-tier striker. It's something Mikel Arteta and Edu might be thinking about as they start planning for the January window. Victor Osimhen was on Arsenal's radar over the summer as a potential addition to bolster Arteta's attacking options. A lot of fans were pushing for the Gunners to bring in a dependable number 9, especially since the team doesn't have a lot of depth in the center forward position. Osimhen had a tough summer himself. After failing to secure a move to Saudi Arabia, he found himself dropped from Napoli's squad and ended up in a surprising loan deal with Galatasaray. While some Arsenal supporters might be looking at Osimhen's situation and thinking about what might have been, others are probably paying close attention to this latest twist in his career. Today, the Standard revealed some interesting details about Victor Osimhen's contract at Galatasaray, and it actually involves Arsenal. To make his move happen, Galatasaray agreed to a few of the striker's requests, one of which includes a January break clause that could see him transfer to another club. What's intriguing is that this release clause can only be activated by 8 specific clubs, and Arsenal is one of them, at Osimhen's request. Strangely, despite Galatasaray covering his full salary, they aren't one of the clubs on the list. Instead, it's speculated that Arsenal, along with Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, PSG, and Real Madrid, are the teams that could potentially trigger the clause. What is Osimhen's release clause? What's key for Osimhen now is to make a strong impact in Istanbul, as his performance there could play a big role in whether one of his preferred clubs decides to snap him up in January. The Standard also shared some updates on the 25-year-old's release clause after his fallout with Napoli, leading to a contract revision. It's rumored that his release clause is now set around 75 million euros, 63.2 million pounds, making him a much more affordable option for Arsenal if they decide to reignite their interest. Arsenal chose not to go after a striker this summer, but only time will tell if Edu's priorities will change when the January transfer window opens. Arsenal were offered shock chance to sign Mykhailo Mudric. When it comes to players who spark a lot of chatter between Arsenal and Chelsea fans, Mykhailo Mudric is right up there, maybe even more so than Havertz and Sterling. A lot of Arsenal supporters thought Mudric was all set to join their team before he ended up signing with Chelsea at the beginning of 2023. Interestingly, according to Team News and Tix, who usually have the inside scoop on Arsenal, there was actually a chance for the club to bring Mudric on board again on deadline day. Chelsea reportedly offered Arsenal the option to take Mudric on loan, but Mikel Arteta and his team decided to pass and went for Raheem Sterling instead. According to the source, Chelsea never really intended to let Mudric leave. They were just using his name as a bargaining chip to try and get a better deal for Sterling. They made it look like Mudric was heading to La Liga on loan, hoping to push Arsenal into rushing their decision. Chelsea's plan was to run down the clock, hoping that with less time left, Arsenal would feel pressured to pay more for Sterling. But luckily for Arsenal, that strategy didn't pan out, and they managed to secure the deal they wanted for Sterling without getting caught in Chelsea's trap. Sterling could make Arsenal debut in North London Derby. With Sterling now part of the squad and Mudric still at Chelsea, there's a chance we could see Sterling make his Arsenal debut in the upcoming North London Derby. Declan Rice will be missing due to suspension, which is a significant setback for Arteta. But since Sterling won't be heading off with England, Arteta will have some extra time to work with him during the break. While it seems unlikely Sterling will start against Tottenham, he might get a chance to make an impact coming off the bench. Without Rice, Arteta might consider starting Ricardo Calafiori at left back and shifting Jurrien Timber into the midfield. It could be a good way to adjust the lineup and make the most of the available players. Arsenal reveals the real reason Mikel Arteta rejected the opportunity to sign Ivan Toney after transfer meeting. The speculation linking Ivan Toney to Arsenal has come to a close with his recent move to Saudi Arabia. For about a year, there were strong connections between the Gunners and the England international. The buzz around Arsenal wanting Toney picked up right after his ban ended in January, but nothing materialized at the time. There were whispers that a summer move could be on the horizon, but in the end, Arsenal opted not to pursue the 28-year-old. Now, The Independent has shed some light on why Arsenal chose to pass on Toney, revealing the reasons behind their decision. Arsenal definitely could have used a new striker this summer. Their squad is packed with top-notch talent in nearly every position, but they're missing that one player who can consistently score 25 or more goals a season. That's why there's been a lot of talk about bringing in a new number 9. Even Alan Shearer weighed in, suggesting that Arsenal need a new striker to have a real shot at winning the Premier League. Ivan Toney was a name that popped up in connection with Arsenal, and reports say the club even had a meeting with the Brentford striker back in March. After that meeting, Mikel Arteta decided against bringing Ivan Toney to Arsenal. According to The Independent, the main reason Arteta passed on Toney was that he didn't believe the striker's chemistry would be right with the group. Arsenal's approach is clear. They're not going to sign a player just for the sake of it. The new addition has to not only enhance the team on the pitch, but also mesh well with the club's culture off the pitch. Arteta felt Toney didn't quite fit the bill, so he was taken off the short list. The one striker Arsenal should go all out for in 2025. Arsenal have decided not to bring in a new striker this window, and we'll have to wait and see if that choice turns out to be a mistake. With the next window still a ways off, and Arsenal not usually splashing big cash in January, it seems unlikely they'll sign a new striker until the summer of 2025. You can bet Arsenal will be linked with a bunch of center forwards from across Europe, but there's one standout option that seems like a perfect fit: Alexander Isak from Newcastle United. In our view, there's no striker out there right now who matches Arsenal's needs better than Isak. Signing the Swedish star could really elevate the team to the next level. PSG offered Marco Asensio to Arsenal on transfer deadline day. As we all know, Arsenal were hunting for a new attacker on deadline day. They kicked off the window back in June with a clear target: RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko. Unfortunately, Sesko turned them down. After that, Mikel Arteta shifted his focus. Instead of going all in for a traditional striker, he decided it would be better to bring in a versatile winger. So, the search switched gears. The links with Raheem Sterling popped up on the night before deadline day, but it didn't look like the deal would come through in the next 24 hours. There was hardly any optimism that it would happen. Give Me Sport is reporting that PSG tried to offload Marco Asensio to both Arsenal and Manchester United in a last-minute attempt on deadline day. They were pretty confident that one of the English clubs would bite, but in the end, both Mikel Arteta and Erik ten Hag passed on the chance. Arteta chose to go for Sterling instead. Asensio, who's been in Paris for just over a year, will remain with PSG at least until the January 2025 transfer window. Well folks, those were the main news for today. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated on everything happening with our beloved team, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for joining us, and until the next video.